great day.
On the Charleston Harbor, the day begins with a picture-perfect morning. Along with it, a daily grind at sea for these harbor pilots.
You're welcome, buddy.
At a time when security's at its highest, so are the concerns at sea. The cargo ships under closer watch, more than usual.
Yes, there's been a few changes.
They're watching all the vessel traffic that's entering Charleston.
Right here, about 15 miles off the coast of Charleston, I'm standing on a buoy, the same spot where some of these cargo ships sail by. But also out here, not too far away, ships from the Coast Guard, talking with some of these crews before they sail into the port of Charleston.
What's the nationality of your vessel? Over?
Most ships come full of cargo, almost empty with people, sometimes as few as 14 crew members, usually from foreign countries. This ship sailing in today from Germany.
Good.
And in the wake of last week's attack, all these added safety precautions are just that. More steps to shield the coast.
All set?
At the edge of Charleston, up above, new security hangs on the wings of the U.S. Coast Guard.
We're looking for any type of suspicious activity, such as any small boats or large boats. Just don't look right.
This helicopter now with new orders since the terrorist attacks. Over the port looking for anything unusual. And out above the open sea, more patrols, while teaming up with this ship down below, based out of Virginia, also with the Coast Guard. Today, landing on the back for security training. And on this ship,
Hi, Captain.
a crew of about 70.
Helmsman, left 10 degrees rudder.
Their mission to watch for shipping vessels and radio contact each one 30 miles from the Charleston Harbor.
Maersk, Sealand, this is U.S. Coast Guard off your port quarter.
Again, safety's paramount.
And for this crew of mostly young faces, it's a new call of duty. They're quick to answer.
It's good to know that we're actually on the coast, actually doing something to help.
And we're making sure that potentially dangerous ships are safeguarded.
Right here, 31 miles off the coast of Charleston, when the Coast Guard isn't patrolling the seas for security, they're training, like the mission behind me. Training that could make the biggest difference. Their surveillance never stops, and neither does the training, like this exercise, quick refueling in mid-flight.
You know, if we weren't out here doing it, nobody would, so.
And perhaps now is it truly clear the role these young men and women play in America's new fight to protect their homeland.
Hollywood is a fine little town.
A little town cooking up big controversy.
Dean Walking Family Seafood Restaurant.
You got a ticket? Oh yeah, we get pretty much the same people every day. Keep coming back because they enjoy it so much.
Enjoy the good food and familiar faces, a place where any paying customer is welcome, except one.
Mayor Herbert Gadsden, a blind man could tell you he's got a problem.
Among the yellow and white lines of 526, today the blue line of police sit waiting in the median. All day, waiting for those in a hurry.
73, 75, 74.
70 and 75 mile an hour is very unreasonable.
The speed limit is 55.
72 on this green car.
But many here going far beyond that, only to find a police cruiser in their rearview mirror. Officer Lee Gerard, one of many, busy on this Friday. Chasing down this red car, clocked at almost 20 over the speed limit.
And the reason why I stopped you today, you're doing 74 miles an hour in a posted 55 mile an hour zone.
And for North Charleston police officers, they're used to patrolling this stretch of 526 right here, an area known for speeders, but they're also noticing that the problem is getting better. And for those critics who question whether all this is just a money-making opportunity for the city, the police officers out here say that's hardly. And on this Friday night, police arrest 11 men. For all of them, it's their first time getting caught, and that's usually the case. And from here, this is where it happened. A couple visiting from Missouri staying right here in this hotel room. And it's a visit they'll perhaps never forget. But today, that's exactly what they're trying to do, trying to forget what happened here last night in the dark.
We are very lucky.
Today at room 252, the door's shut, all locked up. The most recent guests at the North Charleston Fairfield Inn, Mr. and Mrs. Harold Carter.
I was in my kitchen, cutting up vegetables, getting ready for dinner, watching the tail end of Oprah, and one of the little teasers, commercials came on for the 5 o'clock news saying local pediatrician has been arrested for molestation.
Dr. Robert Marion, a local pediatrician for more than 20 years, was charged in February of 2001 with criminal sexual conduct with a minor. The counts against him would only increase as more alleged victims came forward. Amy Limehouse claims she was a former patient of Dr. Marion's. She says he began sexually abusing her in the late 80s.
I was there for a sore throat, so he looked at my sore throat. But then he told me to take off my panties.
Amy's claims, documented in official charges filed by the Charleston County Sheriff's Office, allege the inappropriate touching went on for 4 years. First when she was 11, then again when she was 14, and a final time when she was 15.
Felt wrong what he was doing at the time he was doing it and after he did it.
Sing praise, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me.
I just wish he was here. I miss him.
For DJ Corson, life now is different. Almost every hour of every day is spent remembering the light of her husband, AJ.
We had big plans.
Down, down, down.
Straight out on target.
Welcome to South Carolina's Criminal Justice Academy. This is where cops are made.
Charleston County Police Officer Bill Cribb shopping that Friday night at Sam's Red and White Grocery on James Island's Folly Road. Cribb and a fellow officer buying supplies for a police get-together the following night. Off duty, but called to action by a panicked store worker.
We're getting robbed, guys. Can you help me?
In a chilling account told to investigators, another store employee, Angela Adams, describes in her own words what happened next.
He told Charles to give him all the money, and Charles took the money and put it in a bag.
Don't play with me, man. Put the money in the bag now.
He pointed the pistol at my head.
What are you looking at?
About this time, 2 white men grabbed the black man, and his gun went off in the air 4 or 5 times. I saw blood squirting from one of the white men. He went down to the floor.
Knocked to the ground by a round of gunshots. What Officer Cribb didn't know, this robber wasn't alone.
Help, man! Shoot him!
His accomplices, one grabbing money from a cash register, the other standing guard at the door, opened fire. Officer Cribb hit 5 times, the fatal shot through his neck.
He died a police officer, being a real police officer, because he was trying to stop a crime.
Actual crime scene photos from 30 years ago, a silent testimony to Cribb's tragic death. Above the store's front door, a bullet pierced the plate glass window. On a nearby store aisle, Pepsi bottles shattered by gunfire. And inside the cubicle where Officer Cribb lay dead, the wall riddled with bullet holes. Within days after this cold-blooded murder, investigators released these composite sketches of the 3 suspects.
They think that these guys can get away with something like this, and as long as I'm breathing, they're not going to get away with it because I'm going to hunt them.
Mickey Watley, assigned as field commander of the investigation, on the scene that night back in 1974. Although retired now, he's logged thousands of hours trying to track down Cribb's killers. After all these years, he's convinced this case can be solved. According to Watley, 2 key pieces of evidence could crack this case wide open. As the robbers were running from the store, one of them stopped and grabbed handfuls of cash from the floor. Money soaked in blood, stained by Cribb's fatal wounds.
Maybe somebody can remember during that period of time, 30 years ago, when they received bloody money or saw bloody money or something, and maybe they remember where they got it from.
The second clue, the type of weapon used by Cribb's killer. A 9mm semi-automatic, a high-powered pistol back then, not typically found on the streets. Investigators say just one tip could get them back on track.
In this case, the problem that we're having is a lot of the witnesses have passed away. We're fighting a battle against the clock, basically.
A battle this department is determined not to lose, out of respect for Officer Cribb and his family.
We miss him terribly. Always will. And there's not a time that I don't go by that corner where that grocery store was. that I don't think about Bill.
His mother, Winifred Cribb, says all Bill ever wanted was to be a police officer. His career cut short, gunned down exactly 10 days before his 30th birthday. Now, decades later, the Cribb family still suffering. Not only the loss of a son, but the injustice that his killers have never been punished.
I still have the nightmares, and I have a dark shadow. There's always a dark shadow. If they were to catch those people, I think maybe I wouldn't have those nightmares anymore.